So I want to actually introduce someone, Addisu Demissie, who represents a lot of what NLC is really all about being a political entrepreneur. Addisu is currently the policy counsel at Google.com, where he leads the global public policy team's efforts to reach out to Google's small business partners and manages Google's political giving activities. But prior to joining Google, Addisu was all over the place for the Obama campaign. He was the national political director for Obama's political PAC. He was the GOTV director for Yes, Ohio for Obama. Did a phenomenal job there. Addisu got his BA from Yale College and his JD from Yale Law School, where he was managing editor of the Yale Law and Policy Review. And with that, I want to introduce you to my friend, Addisu Demissie.
Like my friend Adam, so I use the mic. First off, obviously, thank you all for being here. Thank you to Rita and to Kaylin for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I won't take too much of your time, I promise, because I know there's a bar waiting for you, 180 degrees away. And obviously, like Josh said, NLC is blessed with a leader that has really an uncommon drive to get things done. And I've known Adam now. He's been a good friend of my wife for a long time, and I've known Adam now for 3, 4, 5 years. And honestly, I've never seen somebody with the kind of dedication and really a vision and the drive to get there like this guy has. You guys are lucky to have him, and he deserves another round of applause. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I guess you got the bio here. I'm going to talk a little bit about organizing. It's what I do, and really a craft that found me rather than I found it. I've been doing it for before I came to Google, and even at some level at Google, but before I got to Google for about a decade since college. And I think that if you read the papers now or watch TV or are in any way encountered by the news, the apocalypse is upon us for progressives. And I don't actually believe that, but I do think that there is cause for concern. And I think that it's not for the reasons that everybody says. I mean, I am a Democrat, although I know this is a nonpartisan organization, and we're going to lose anywhere between 30 and 572 seats in a couple of months, supposedly. Whatever. It's not really about that. I'm going to read real quick a piece from an article last week in the New York Times about FreedomWorks, which some of you may have heard of, which is basically the umbrella organization for the Tea Party. And I think it actually, I see eyes rolling, and my eyes often roll when we talk about such an organization. But this article really opened my eyes and gave me some cause for concern, and here's why. This is again from last week's New York Times. FreedomWorks' pitch to activists is that the money is not really the point. It's about convincing friends, neighbors, and strangers in congressional districts where 100 or 1,000 votes can make all the difference. The activists tend to be a zealous lot, yes. To start with, FreedomWorks urges them to channel that energy by becoming precinct captains, knocking on doors, and learning from the way that Barack Obama, not someone that Tea Party supporters generally admire, wrapped up the Democratic nomination for president by organizing the caucus states. That's a cause for pause for all of us in the progressive movement, and here's why. I was in Ohio for the general election, and some may remember when Sarah Palin gave her speech denigrating community organizing at the Republican National Convention 2 years ago, and we took that to heart. There's a place in Ohio, Southwest Ohio, literally it's called Middletown, Ohio, Middle America, if there ever was one, ever was a place like that. In John Boehner's district, Ohio 8, pretty much the most conservative place in the state and one of the most conservative places in the country. But John McCain did not have an office in Middletown, Ohio. Barack Obama did. And our campaign had 5 organizers, if I'm remembering correctly, in the Middletown office organizing Butler County and the surrounding counties and doing our best to turn out the Democrats and the progressives that were there. And the people who we found were incredibly excited to have us there. There were thousands. They were a minority, to be sure. I mean, we got our butts kicked in Butler County on election day. But these were folks that were yearning for something. yearning to be a part of something, yearning to be a part of a community that was bigger than themselves, and really yearning to know that there were people in their community who shared their values after being showered with folks like John Boehner and things like that for most of their political lives. And so yes, we did get pretty well beaten on Election Day, but the folks who the Obama campaign organized in Middletown for really the first time ever have now formed their own organization. They are called Middletown for Change. Some of them have run for the Middletown City Council and won, surprisingly enough, a nonpartisan election. So that may have helped. But some of them have lobbied both Congressman Boehner and also their local elected officials to accept Recovery Act money, which is something that conservatives, I suppose, don't really like to do. And now they're the leaders in the coordinated campaign for 2010. So I say this, I'm telling this story because I think that it shows that there is really there's a hunger for community out there that the Obama campaign tapped into in 2008, and that I think that the Tea Party, we can admit it, is effectively doing now. If you saw Becca-Palooza, like you said earlier last weekend, say what you will about it, but what it did do was show people from across the country that there were people like them that were out there, and it gave people a chance to reach out and say, I'm not alone in all this. And in the end, I think that's the lesson that the Obama campaign, the Tea Party, and really what NLC is all about, which is that organizing it's not just about winning the next election, it's not just about achieving a specific goal, but it's about creating a community. It's about finding like-minded individuals, putting them together, and basically seeing what happens. And I think that that is a really, really powerful thing. And I think that sometimes in the progressive movement in particular, we get really caught up in the fact that, in the cause that we're fighting for, and forget that in many ways the social, in many ways just the mere fact of having a community around you that supports you and that supports you back is an end in itself. It's an end in itself. And a lot of great things can happen when you do that. So I'll stop there. I know there are a lot of drinks to be had, but I will just say this, and other things to do. But I will say that I encourage everybody here, as organizers in your own communities, leading whatever organizations you may do, people in the political sphere like I used to be, to really take to heart that it's not just about fighting for what you believe in. It's not just about the cause. We take ourselves too seriously sometimes, and the issues are serious and the issues are grave, but people don't join organizations to have another job. They join organizations to find people who are like them and to find people who they can share a special experience with. So I look forward to being a part of this one. I really hope that everybody here takes some of the lessons they learn and the relationships that they build here and goes back to their home communities and changes them and changes their state and the country and the world. I'm happy to talk to anybody about my experiences, but speaking of the social, let's get to it. So I'll give the mic back to you.